Hello, I am Deborah Henson-Conant, also known as Deborah Henson-Conant, also known as DHC, and I am here this evening at this very moment here on this video to tell you about a piece of music that's actually an opportunity, meaning it's a piece of music that's not, it is written out, but I am about to do a challenge for harpists in which I will be showing you how to go beyond what's written on the page and actually learn how to create a version of this piece for yourself that is at exactly your level of ability to play. So rather than me, the composer, making a gazillion different versions of this piece for each person so that each person can use their particular abilities, I'm going to teach you how to do that. So that's not, sorry, I probably didn't tell you this before I started, but I am completely jet lagged at this moment. I've just come back from Europe, where I was teaching this piece amongst other things, and about to be. Obviously, my harp doesn't want to play. I promised myself that I would come on here tonight and do a Facebook Live, actually test out this new Facebook Live streaming thing that I have, and just see whether everything is working, so that starting on Monday, we can start the Baroque Flamenco Harp Improv Challenge. So what are you being challenged? The challenge is to let yourself have fun with a piece, to go beyond the page and understand how the piece works. I challenge you to work with the composer, with me, to create your version of this piece, meaning to learn how the piece works. When you learn how the piece works, then you get to play your own way. When you know how it breaks down to its simplest components, then you get to ground in the sound and the shape of the way it is built. When you know how the piece is built, then it's like it's been built for you. Like if you were on a playground and there was a piece of playground equipment that you were able to play on, that's what I want to teach you how to do with this piece. And this way of working with this particular piece is called the Baroque Flamenco 5-Day Harp Improv Challenge. If you're just arriving, I'm telling you that I am totally jet lagged, and yet I promised myself that I would come on here and I would tell every harpist everywhere who's listening about this challenge. Because it's a challenge to have fun with a piece. So this piece was this particular piece, Baroque Flamenco, that is now this concerto that people play all over the world. It was originally a very, very simple piece. And it was the first piece that I learned to improvise on. So what I want to do is teach you how to do that if you play the harp, so that then you can learn a method for breaking things down, breaking music down to its simplest components so that you can ground in it. Ground in the simplicity and allow that simplicity to expand. Because that's part of what I teach. It's part of what I do with harp music and with harp improvisation. It's So there are ways of playing with music that require you to read what's on the page. Here, I'll take this off so that you can see my hands. Hide that. You're still got a little QR code up there in the corner. There are ways of playing music that require you to read something that's on the page, that has been written before you got there. But there are ways of playing music that are more like blueprints or more like games that you can play. And this particular piece is both. It's both a piece of music that has been written out by me and an idea that's something you can play with. And that's what I'm going to teach you to do in this challenge. So I'm here to let you know that this is going to begin on Monday. So you can sign up. In fact, you can sign up at that QR code that's up there in the corner. And I will also answer any of your questions about this piece. So this is every 4 months, I try to have a challenge, a 5-day challenge for harp players. And it's a 5-day challenge in improv because that is what I teach at Hip Harp Academy. I'm a composer, I'm a performer, and I also have an online school. So if you come to see me in a concert, you'll see me as a performer, performing this music that I create. If you go and buy sheet music, you'll see me having written it out. And if you come to work with me as a coach or as a teacher, I will teach you how to do it because this is what I love. I love music. I love finding the simplest way to play something so that you can really connect with it, so that you can really ground with it, and then allowing it to expand, because this is what I have gotten to do in my life. And this particular piece is a piece that I have been playing for years and years and years. And what I love about that is that if you can find the simplest way to play a piece, then that piece can be a companion. That piece, once you ground in it, you can expand who you are. And as you expand as a musician, the piece expands in your hands. And no longer are you trying to prove yourself to yourself and anyone else, but you're having a lifelong relationship with the piece so that one piece can expand. And that's what's happened with this piece in my life. It started off as a very simple 2-part piece that had a beautiful melody. Written by Jean-Jacques Rousseau. And how appropriate to play this piece right now, because Jean-Jacques Rousseau was not just a composer. In fact, he was less known as a composer. He was a philosopher. He was a politician. He wrote the social contract on which our Constitution was based. And he wrote this beautiful little melody. And for me, it's especially appropriate to be teaching this piece and how to expand this piece and how to live inside this piece and let it expand your life. It's particularly appropriate because tomorrow I am going to be reading along with other people in my town the American Constitution, because this town that I live in, Arlington, Massachusetts, 250 years ago, this was where Paul Revere's ride was happening on this night. So So this piece is always meaningful to me, but it's especially meaningful to me right now because this piece was this original little melody that I based this piece on was written by someone who wrote a piece of who wrote the social contract, and then that has been expanded into our Constitution. And so I don't know, you get to experience part of that, part of the freedom through music of taking a piece, a melody that man wrote, and seeing what you can expand into with it, the freedom that you can expand into. Did I mention I'm jet lagged? So I may actually be asleep when I'm speaking right now, but I wanted to come on here and invite every one of you. There's a little QR code up there. And you know what I like about this particular this restream, and I'm going to come on, like tomorrow when I'm actually awake, when I'm no longer jet lagged, I'm going to come on again and talk more about this. But I promised myself that I was going to come on tonight and answer any questions that you had. So let me come down here because that is one of the great things about this. Tammy, thank you. Got any questions? Because I'm ready to answer your questions. And then everybody, since it is for me, I mean, I was in Europe yesterday, and now my brain is still there. So if you have any questions, you know what? I just want to let you know about this. And I think I better go to bed right now. I thought I could come on and do a Facebook Live, but I think I better leave. But I want you to know about this. And so I will... let me pull this up. Where is it? QR codes. Okay. We pull this up so that you'll be able to you'll be able to click on it. Nope, that just got rid of it. But here it is again. Yeah, so click on that and you will get into the free adventure. It will start on Monday, but you can jump in there right now. There's already warm-ups that you can play. And then I will be going through this adventure with you. And one of the cool things about the 5-day challenges is that there's also prizes. Like every day so a lot of people actually are always asking me, but what time does it start? What time does it start? Well, it's all day. I mean, I've pre-recorded the videos so that you can take the training. The training videos are 15 minutes long. I've already pre-recorded. We try to load them up so that everyone can have access to them, like midnight 01, so that you have the entire day. There's at least 24 hours that everybody gets to look at these videos. The video is 15 minutes long. You look, or less. You look at it. You get to it. It tells you what to do. It trains you in how to simplify the piece and learn it bit by bit. And then you share that online. And then at the end of each day, we pick at random from all the people who've shared that day. So join now, and you get prizes every day. And there's also a grand prize. And the grand prize is 3 months in Hip Harp Academy, which is worth nearly $1,000. We don't even offer the possibility to have 3 months in the academy. So that's something that it's great for you to get the opportunity to do that. You know what? I keep thinking that I can actually talk, and I keep realizing when I start talking that I'm jet lagged. So I'm going to leave you with this. I hope you join if you play the harp. We have had people who are not harpists join. We had a bassoon player join. We've had dancers join. It is a really fun piece to explore in this particular way. So feel free to join, whether you're a harpist or not, and enjoy the prizes, enjoy the community, enjoy the, getting to connect with me and talk about grounded expansion. Having a piece where you ground in it, you learn it simply, very, very simply, in a way that you can play it with expression now, and in a way that it can grow with you. It can expand, and you can expand. Because this is a concept that I really love, because that's what's happened to me with this piece. And so I want to teach other people how to do that as well. So let me see if there's any other chat. Hello, Tammy is asking me questions. Thank you for sharing your love and passion for this challenge. I'm looking forward. Yay! Great. And I know that Tammy's taken it before and saying that she always learns something new. Victoria is saying, yeah, grounded expansion. Exactly. So what I love about that, Victoria, is that it has to do with both the power of simplicity and the power of, well, if you know anything about me, you know that I also love bombast. I love simplicity, but I also love being really fancy and fun. And this piece has all that in it. You can play it super simply. Like you could play this piece with having almost no harp skills. Like you could literally play it with 2 notes. Like, whoa, but they have to be okay. Like you can play the melody that simply, or you can play it, So in the challenge, you learn that there's a sort of a fundamental groundedness to every melody that has to do with the melody itself and its harmonic world that it lives in. And then you can expand and expand and expand it. But what's especially fun about this piece is that it's got a contrasting section. There's a melody, but there's a contrasting section. And that contrasting section has what's called a descending bass line. It is a sort of a concept in music. You've probably, I'm sure you've heard it. It's basically, I mean, that's what it is. Let me get this out of the way so that you can see my hands here. Hide. Yeah. And so you can ground in the simplicity of this is it's like a simple poem, but as you say it, it opens up and opens up and opens up, because you could just go. So you can, even if you're just learning how to play, it's something that you can play, and you can play with self-expression, which is important. So you're grounding in the simplicity of it. Once you've grounded in the simplicity of it, then it can expand. So this thing can become something big like that. The function here, and the function that I find that so many people, myself included, are resistant to, is allowing it to be simple enough so that you can ground in it. No matter what your mind is thinking, oh, it should be like this, or it should be like this. We're so used to, especially adults, are so used to hearing complex music that we feel like it's not enough unless it has all this stuff. Therefore, we never are able to ground in it, and then we cannot expand because we're always trying to catch up or trying to make it good enough. The power of this piece and the power of the concept of grounded expansion is to allow something to be, to allow it to be simple so that you actually can play it and feel it and connect with it with self-expression. Because when that does happen, that's like challenge number 1 is letting it be simple. And challenge number 2 is allowing it to expand in an organic way. And that's how people are able to, each person ends up having their own version of the piece at your specific level. I could write a gazillion different versions of this piece at different people's levels, but I would rather teach you how to do that, because if I can teach you how to do that with this piece, then you can take that understanding, that way of looking at music, and you can use it with many, many other pieces. And that concept is called grounded expansion. grounding in something simple, allowing it to expand, rather than having an idea of it being this big thing and you have to get it, which means you're constantly not enough. So you're practicing being enough. Yes, so that's what grounded expansion is, and that's what this entire quarter is about in Hip Harp Academy, and this piece just happens to epitomize that. So that's what I wanted to tell you tonight. I will be telling you more and more about that all weekend. And then the challenge will begin on Monday, begins at, 1 minute after midnight on Monday. And it goes for 5 days and it's pre-recorded. People are, like I said, people are always asking me, but what time is it? Well, it's all day long. You have 24 hours for each of the day's things. And you can catch up if if you need to catch up. And then at the very end of the week, we have a grand prize as well. So there's prizes all along, there's learning all along, and there's community all along. Most importantly, there is a real connection, learning about making a connection to a piece instead of trying to play it with perfection. So again, as I've said, probably 8 times now, and probably forgotten that I said it, I am super jet lagged. So I will now go to sleep and I will be back here tomorrow to tell you more about this. So make sure you sign up. I'll put the link here again. I can find it. Oh, one thing, people are always telling me, if you've already done this challenge, definitely do it again. Many people do it every year if we run it. And they kind of look at, well, what can I do this year that I couldn't do last year? So that's really fun to kind of see what's shifted for you. And here it is. There it is. That's the QR code. Sign up, tell your friends, and I will come back tomorrow to tell you about this again. Man, I really need to go to sleep. I'm going to do that right now. I promise. All right. Go forth and harp on grounding and allowing yourself to expand. And I will do that with you in this challenge.